All right, Avery, we finally got a video, or at least a replay that I could see. I made sure to do it as soon as you posted it up, so let's dive into it. First off, you're playing Damba, an all-time favorite of mine, as you know, and you want to let me look at the Discord message real quick. You said if you could have a look at when I'm not respecting the space enough, the Eevee can be in, and when I might be over peeking something to get a heal, and when I should be using Gourd for myself when I'm not, and using the teammate instead. Also, getting out of combat is an issue for me since I'm always winding up stuns. There's that too. Okay, so we got a little bit that I want to go over in the actual video. I will say before I get into this that I've already watched it. I like to get like a general overview of how the gameplay goes to figure out how exactly I'd like to give my critiques and whatnot. But I can already tell you that one, this looks like, is this an organized scrim? Because this game looks intense. And I can tell you right now that it was fun as hell to watch. You are an incredibly good Maldamba. I will try to give you as much tips as possible, but one of them is going to be repeated a lot. So I might skim through a little of this because I don't want to skip over anything really, but it's a lot of the same thing because you do so many things, right? You just do a little minor things here and there that I think you can improve on. This is always, I want to give a disclaimer. This is my personal opinion. This is not the right way to do things. So take my advice with a grain of salt and kind of interlace it. I'm crossing my fingers right now, you can't see, with your gameplay to figure out the best combination of the two. First thing I want to go over is the loadouts. You have Swift Spirits 4. You've got Possession 4, which I think is incredibly important to have a high, either a 4 or 5 possession when you're going up against an Eevee because you're going to be taking a lot of poke damage from her wormhole blinks and her shots on you. You've got Mini Gourds at a 3. Mini Gourds is probably, when I have a high level of Mini Gourds, I always feel really good with my Gourds because you get them up so often. So definitely something that I like that you have at a level 3, but you kind of have to suffer by not grabbing a level 5 possession and a level 5 Swift Spirits, and I think that's okay. I think I might actually start doing that because I love it so much. But a 3 Eerie Presence, that's pretty much staple in all Damba loadouts. So when you miss, you can pop a right click up, which I'll be honest, I'm going to try to pay attention a little bit more because I don't think that the noise is different in Spectator comparative to when you miss and when you hit with your right click. But it looks like you miss a lot of right clicks, and I'll go over why. Because spoiler, you're just doing so much, and a lot of it can help out a lot, but sometimes I feel like you might be focusing a little bit too much on the aggressive nature of Damba instead of just getting the right clicks up. Okay, taking a look at the other team. We've got Temporal Divide, so we're going to have a big-ass shield, but not up as much. Big Game Hunter, you don't really have to worry about that too much. That's mainly for the Makoa and the Barrack. And you got to be trying to heal a Mave. And I don't know what this Victor is. I don't know. I doubt he's cardio. Especially if it's a scrim, I sincerely doubt it's cardio. But of course, you're starting off with Chronos. You're going to want to try to rush Chronos 2 as fast as possible. And I already know you go for Deft Hands, and that's completely fine and definitely good to get Deft Hands 2 against an Eevee that's blinking in, and you make use of it very well. I always say I like to... Wait, where'd my little Seek bar go? Son of a bee. Where is... View, I guess it would be like up here maybe. Go to like view Seek bar. There it is. I don't know. How did I get that to go bye-bye? Control 1. Oh, that's my binding that I do to start a recording. That makes sense. Okay. Also, there's going to be a little hiccups like this. Oh, no, I alt-tabbed out because something was important. I needed to take care of it. But you will see some hiccups. I have no idea. I was hoping it's the replay. It also happened during Shash's replay when I was watching it on Twitch. Might be my computer. I might need to look into that. Starting off, just giving a right click on the Barrack, just making sure he can get a little bit of movement speed, not really getting the healing too much. Gourd bouncing back, not the greatest thing in the world. So the thing I want to make note of is the amount of time that you have with a heal cooldown up. That one should have been snapped a little bit farther down just so you can make sure that you always want to place a Gourd to where someone can take advantage of it without taking damage from an enemy. Good job at assisting on that kill. Ooh, so close on that. Back out by, use the rock as cover. Very good, very good. There's the hiccups that I'm referring to. I don't know what the hell is it, why it's happening. I'll be looking out for that Vic and the Mave. That Vic is incredibly low. What you could do there is toss a Gourd over by the Vic because he is in a safe spot and he can take advantage of the Gourd. But using a Gourd and just letting him get out of combat regen is more than okay. And again, you guys might be in comms, might be like, don't worry about me. Bullets might just be yelling, don't worry about me, I got out of combat, focus on the tanks. Good heal on the Mave. Again, there's going to be some dull moments where I'm just kind of watching the gameplay. Gord down perfect. You can take advantage of it just standing over in the corner, and also the tank can take advantage of it. The Victor can toss a heal. That ult, really unfortunate because Cassie ulted at the same time as Fury ulted. So one was reactive, one wasn't. That one was just unfortunate. This Makoa also does a really good job of keeping you alive. Like a couple of times when you're in a sketchy situation. Goes to help you out. See there, I think you missed on that barrack, but I can't. I'm pretty sure because you had a pretty fast cooldown on that. Good job of keeping the right click on the Makoa when he's got his ult up to make sure he can get that speed boost. Dash right away. I would have probably, if anything, anticipated an ult, but at the very least just anticipated him, that Eevee smashing into me. What a dodge on that Eevee. I think you like accidentally got glitched on the wall. Worked out really well. So good job using this, just this wall in general that you just used to avoid that Eevee and kind of juking and whatnot. You can't heal through that wall, right? I'm pretty sure you can. That barrack is dead. He just got caught out on a stun. It's unfortunate. I like that you dashed over by the rock. You're just always looking for cover, right? You're always looking for cover. Right now, you're not. Your team isn't really focusing, or I would say your team. You're not that you guys are in comms for sure. This is a scrim, but your team is mainly focusing on trying to hold as much ground as possible, waiting for your barrack to come up because you want your barrack to be the main tank, the person on the payload, and then the Makoa kind of pushing on the outside, being the beefy aggressor, the off tank. Oh, there's another hiccup. Classic. God, there's going to be so many of those. Again, I apologize. I won't bring them up anymore. Here, I would pop a gourd on that Mave. Anytime you feel like someone's just going to be chilling on a corner where they can stay safe but also take advantage of the gourd, I do it. I like that you pulled the gourd back there, expecting that the barrack would fall back just a little bit. Because he was kind of in a sketchy situation. Ult to keep your Makoa alive. Gourding yourself was a very good decision right there. You always have the scary possibility that the Eevee's gonna be blinking in. You're already at like 900 health. It's below half. It's like 40%. So I think that's definitely a fair assessment. There might be some times when you are kind of sitting around half health, but you don't really feel that much danger, that I would maybe just focus on right-clicking and letting out-of-combat regen just tick up a few times. I'll try to see if I can find that situation coming up where I can point it out. But using this tree, don't want to over-aggress too much. Good dodge on the beam. Think you hit that? Yeah, you hit that. And maybe you don't miss as many as I thought you did. It's just the spectator client was being a douche. Good heal on that right before the stun went off. Gourd on the payload, right click on the payload. Keeping that barrack alive. The Makoa's getting pushed on a little bit, but I like that you're still focusing on the barrack, because he's the one that's definitely going to be taking damage because he's on the payload. And it's on the Makoa to try to get out safely. Okay, I don't remember having this often. Shut up, Common. Chilling back. Look for the heal on the Makoa. Look for the heal on the barrack. Ooh, good stun. There you go, easy peasy. Like I said, not much to say about that other than sorry for the hiccups. And what I said, I guess, during what I was giving tips for. Sure, there's that. Those are words. Apparently all tabbed. I think it was when I was like closing out some programs. Like I had Internet Explorer, I had Chrome up. And I was like, maybe that's causing issues with the hiccups. I don't think it fixes it, though. So you picked up Deft Hands 1. You are hitting a lot of stuns. Like I said, Deft Hands is definitely a solid choice here, especially with the Eevee. You had some clutch stuns this game, I'll tell you that. Your Makoa just got 100% dove on. So your team does a really good job at staying back. Gourd placement could have been a little bit closer to the ramp, but still it's in a decent proximity to where your team can take advantage of it. And I like that you're kind of giving up on the Victor and saying good luck getting here because we don't have a lot of time. They have comeback mechanics, so they're taking a little bit quicker, and you want to stay with the Makoa. He's probably going to be ulting here soon. Yes, I remember correctly. Good time to ult. Perfect. You hear that Eevee? I think the Eevee's over to your left. You good, fam? Made jumping like a mad woman? Mad woman? Jesus, game. The struggle is real. There you go, there's a gourd. You know you can definitely help with that. Eric just kind of chilling up there. So close on the stun for the Eevee. They're probably going to touch. Now here's a thing that I thought that you did, but it wouldn't really work that much. And this is avoiding the overtime proc. So the Eevee touched the point, and the way that overtime works, and I'm sure you're very aware of this, and you might have even tried to do this, it's just you didn't have enough time because they were closing it. But let's say everyone that was really close is really far back. What you could do is, since the Eevee touched the point, that means overtime is going to tick as long as you get to 99% within the next, I don't know, was it like 4 or 5 seconds or something? So what you do here, and I thought you do it on purpose, is you pop off. You pop off of the point. And if these people weren't so close, you could just not touch the point for like 3 more seconds. And then if you would have ticked that last bit of 100%, maybe 2 seconds later, maybe you could avoid overtime. Maybe I'm not understanding how overtime works, but I'm almost 100% sure that overtime procs as long as someone has touched it within a recent amount of time. I'm just not 100% sure what the recent amount of time is. Again, you didn't really have the possibility of like doing that because they were going to touch it anyway if you stayed off for a couple more seconds. But just something to keep note of. Very, very circumstantial advice. And definitely hard to pull off in the heat of combat. Like the dash away there. The wormhole Eevee had a few more seconds left on that. I tried to get that dash up, but it was just bad timing. I think they're probably going to get that. So you're just chilling, waiting for a time to come back in. Let me turn off my display capture over here. There we go. Don't worry, I'm still here. They have the choice of either backing off to get an angle on J-Flare or just running in there with the Makoa. I think it's worth dedicating your time and not healing your teammates for a quick second to make sure that Eevee doesn't get out for free. That kind of staggers them an extra, few seconds. Again, so they have to fall back a little bit, and your team is aggressing onto them as they should be. Definitely focus the heal on that Maeve right there. I think he took a little bit too much time aggressing and trying to get the kill. I think they had that fine. Keeping the gourd right there, that way they can retreat right into it. And also, I expect them to kind of just barrel through that area. At least I'd be expecting them to barrel through the right side. And have your ult ready, because it's only like a minute into the round. A few misses there, but life happens. This is where I would probably ult. Not anymore, though. Maybe I do it right there. Try to get your barrack out. Looks like you can get out anyway. So maybe it wouldn't have been necessary. No, the Eevee's over on the right side. Okay, so that hit. Blink back. 2 great stuns on the Eevee. That was nuts. Now we chillin' like villains. I wouldn't push past anywhere where Barrack's standing, using those statues as cover. You have your Makoa on the right side. Just look at this coverage. You got Birdie on the left side, people in the mid, people on the right. You have all lanes covered as long as you can keep them up. Really good coverage by the team. Push failed. Defense successful. Oops, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm fast forwarding and then rewinding because, the timing. You go with Resilience 2, Deft Hands 2, and Chronos 2. This sounds like a dumb question. I mean, you have Resilience to mitigate the amount of time he freezes you, mitigate the amount of stun there. But does it officially work against Eevee's ult and Inara's slow? Because it should. It says reduce the effectiveness and duration of slows and other crowd controlling effects by X%. I just could have swore when it first came out, it's like, it doesn't work, and then they're like, yeah, we'll fix it, and then they never actually did it. Pretty much just giving up on the person over the right side. They're dead. Bye-bye, Vic. Don't know if the ult was worth it there, because the Atlas probably had a rewind, but stopping his aggression isn't the worst thing in the world. I would have dashed a little bit earlier, but looks like you're going to be able to stay alive. Good heal on the Maeve, good stun on the Eevee, your Nutter Butters. I love Damba, dude. Like, watching someone like this, someone good at Damba, it's just, to a new player, they would be lost as hell. Just like, what the hell are you doing? You're doing so much. Do you have to do this much? My answer? Yes. If you want to be good. This is a situation where you'd want to hold off on the shots, which you do end up doing that. Oh, that Maeve. Avoiding shots like a professional. And by avoiding shots, I mean avoiding heals like a professional. Ooh. That stun pretty much hit. I felt it. That Barrack's gonna try to run in an ult. Oh, actually, the Barrack already ulted. Never mind. I thought he didn't ult last round. He didn't get it pulled off. Good stun. Ooh, being able to top that Maeve would have helped out a little bit, but not that big of a deal. She should be able to get back. Gourd for them to fall back on. Probably not close enough to really make a difference, but it's okay. See there, those missed heals where it was a really tight window to hit them. He had to really thread that needle, but if he would have pulled that off, Maeve might have survived. And this is the very obvious things. But there's just sometimes you kind of go through a missing spree, and I feel like it's because you're trying to swap between, you know, shooting a shot, which you have to arc a little bit, hitting a stun, which you have to arc even harder, and healing, which you have to have hit scan on. Might make it so, you know, you're trying to do too many things at once, and it might hurt a little bit of your aiming on your heals. But that's just a theory. It's just a theory. Ooh, Jostles with the pro dodge. Gourd there so they can hide behind the wall. That's good. Barrack's happy. Good kill on the con. Here's where I noticed you went for a lot of, like, during this time you go for a lot of stuns up at the top right. And they just, I don't think they're that worth it if you find yourself not lining up your heals when you need them. Or missing more often, where you're just like, maybe I should just focus on trying to... Because if you watch your teammate just for a little bit, you kind of get an idea of what their movement is. Sometimes they'll, like, do a certain dodging way, and then you go, oh, okay, I know they're going to dodge that way, they're going to cut left, they're going to cut right. Sometimes. I find it easier if I'm focusing a little bit more on heals to hit my heals more often. 30 seconds. Ooh, Makoa coming with that save. Like I said earlier, Makoa really good at tossing out those saving shields. No, Cassie, you meanie head. Dingo! Whoa, you got a wall hack heal there? Come on to you. I mean, your overall goal right here is to get your Chronos 3. For me. But, you know, 14 or 140 credits is a lot to ask for in overtime status. I think you get relatively close. Come back to the point. Proc overtime. You know, only about 40 credits away. So you go with Nimble 2 instead. I haven't really ever picked up Nimble that much, and it could allow you to dodge some shots here and there. With Resilience and Nimble, it can also allow you to get out of the Eevee ult that much quicker. Baywatch style. You're welcome. Woo! It's a 900, 250, 500, 750. I don't think you had enough. Okay, so there would, yeah, that ult would have been a good time just a little bit earlier. You're getting pushed on, you might want to fall back just a little bit. At least use that rock behind you. I think you're kind of boned now. They just aggressed really hard. Your Makoa's got an ult, so he's probably going to want to try to find a different route and get over, I'm going to guess, the left side? I don't even remember. Okay, he is going on the left side. And he's going to use his ult to make sure he can stay alive. He doesn't need too much help. He's mainly just going to be a distraction. Uh-oh, Freya got caught out. That's not good. For them. For you, it's very good. Really good kill on Jostles. Keeping J-Fair alive, but also staying on the point. Very good, very good. Ooh. You know, if walls didn't exist, you would have had that stun. So overall, to your question, are you not respecting the space of the Eevee enough? I think you are. I think you're definitely respecting the fact that Eevee exists and it's a human being. She's a human being. Are you over peaking or something? No, I think you're peaking. There might be sometimes when you're out in the middle of you're peaking around a corner and you don't have your cooldown up as much. But in general, I think the over peaking would come from just trying to hit those shots more often when you could just be hiding and popping out just for the right click and the heals. But you do a good job of being a support in the sense that not only are you healing, but you're also stunning and you're doing damage. I wish you could have saw the post screens to see how much damage you did. The main thing is like the stuns, but there's no post screen stats for stuns. As for when you gourded yourself and gourd other people, the gourd placements can sometimes just be rough. You think your teammate's going one way and then they go the other way and you're like, oh, that sucks. I don't know how much communication you guys had. Again, I don't know if it was a team or if I was just like really just stacked ranked game right there. It was a really fun game to watch though. But when you needed to gourd yourself, I think you did it properly. But when it comes to the next question of not getting out of combat regen too much because you're left clicking and going for the stuns so much, when you're long range, sometimes even if you hit those stuns, they feel really good, but I don't know if they're going to help out that much. Your team has to react really quickly, and it could line up. Like your team could be pushing, you get a stun, and it just helps your team out immensely. But most of the time, I would say you're either going to miss the stun long range, or you're going to hit the stun, and no one's really going to be able to take advantage of it. And you're definitely not going to be able to follow up on the damage that range. So maybe just sitting back if you have a little bit of HP loss and just looking to get the right click heals and get out of combat regen. In general, though, you were really good Damba, like really good. And there's not too much I can give other than try to hit your heals more often. But I can say that about me. I can say that about PPL players. I can say that about anyone. But to elaborate more on that, to make it specific for you, is maybe try not to be as aggressive when you're doing long-range things. Close range, I can see preemptive stuns around corners, especially when you have an EV blinking just nonstop. But those long range, just give you some time to focus on other things other than trying to hit those long range stuns, like looking up at the top right or top left, whatever it is. I think it'd be top left for you and everybody to see what the HP is. Make sure everyone's getting topped off, and it also allows you to focus a little bit more on aiming to make sure you hit those heals. Because if you miss 2 heals in a row, even with Eerie Presence and Chronos 2, you have global cooldown to worry about. So that's a solid 2 seconds of healing that you missed, where you could have healed someone and your cooldown would already be up to heal again. But it's really minute things. Again, I said it in the Shash video. When you guys, people that are longtime subs, like you, Shash, Freya, I'm just trying to name the ones off the top of my head that have come up, Echo, people that have sent in a lot of Coach Kami's and have either learned from past experience on just watching my videos passively, past Coach Kami's, or just getting better at the game in general. I don't know if I give enough helpful comments to really feel helpful. If anything, me just telling you you're doing everything right, hopefully that gives you more incentive to just keep pushing on through and getting better. But it actually astounds me about how good you guys have gotten. Very much impressed. If you have any more questions about specific times in the video where you're just like, should I have done this, should I have done that, I could definitely help out with that and give you my opinion. But overall, item, ult usage, Slytherin, and just making sure that you're doing the most you can with your Damba is all pretty much up there top tier. There's not much else more I can say to help. Thanks for the Coach Kami. Hopefully it helped. Much love, Avery. See ya.